My name is Deborah Coffey, and first of all, I just want to thank you, and I just so much appreciate the work that you guys are doing. And it's just amazing, how I knew all the stuff that was going on 15, 20 years ago, and I couldn't really confirm it because there was really nobody out there that was doing it or sounding the horn. And so then when, people started coming forward, I think the first real person that I thought, that had any kind of voice was that celebrity, the one girl that wrote
Jenny
the book.
McCarthy?
Yes, when she wrote the book, and then my girlfriend handed me the book and she said, you have to read this book. And I started thinking about all the things that I went through with my kids. I have a son that's 30 and then a daughter that's 26, and my son was vaccine injured. And I look back on his ear infections and how they would give him antibiotics one after the other, and how he would cry and I'd have to hold him all night. He couldn't lay down. And as a mother 30 years ago, I used to think, there's something wrong with this. I mean, they're giving him antibiotics, there's something going on, this is going to hurt him long term. But as a mother, I listened to my doctor too. So eventually, he kind of grew out of it, but in the 4th grade he was diagnosed ADHD. And then, of course, they wanted to put him on Ritalin, and then it just became a nightmare, trying to put him on Ritalin, trying to get him to behave in school. And I knew that he was, highly intelligent and highly creative. So I felt like that whole thing with the school was just keeping him, in a cage, and all the stuff that was going on. So eventually I took him off the Ritalin, put him in a different school, and kind of started being my own doctor, putting him on different kinds of supplements, changing his diet, taking the sugar out of his diet, doing everything I could. And he's 30 years old now. He's like a vegan chef. He's amazing. So he's come out of it. But when I look back on that whole scenario and think how I had a part to play in it because I was ignorant, I didn't do my research, and I trusted the doctor. And now I look at people today and think about when I talk to young girls, young mothers that have kids, and I try to tell them, that the whole vaccine thing is, hasn't been tested. It's not scientifically proven. You have to be your own doctor. You have to be your own medicine. And then, my daughter now, I have a 5-year-old granddaughter that I think is vaccine injured. And my daughter didn't know about it, and I wasn't pushing it with her until just recently. Now she's caught on, and she realizes that now she's doing the detoxification for her daughter. But it just really, really, just drives me crazy that people are still listening and being in the matrix and listening to the whole medical thing. So, I mean, my stories, when I look at some of the stories, and I watch you guys, I follow you guys, and I listen to the stories, and it just, my whole critical thinking started when I realized that autism was an epidemic and nobody was talking about it. And then when I started asking people, why is autism 1 in 50 children when it used to be 1 in 10,000 when my kids were little? I started doing my own research, went back and looked at all the different things that had happened. Like in 1986, they made it illegal to sue the pharmaceutical companies. They indemnified them, and then it was one thing after another that led me down that rabbit hole where I realized this has all been a plan. And so now I try to educate as many people as possible. I try to help my grandkids with the detoxification. I think it's so funny all the time how doctors make fun of people that are doing their own research, and they say, don't let your Google research get in the way of my medical degree. But the fact of the matter is, there's never been research like there is today. When I was a young mother, if I had the knowledge and the research available to me, I would have done it, and I would have found out the answers a long time ago. So that's what I would recommend, is for people to do their research and let go of the premise that, that all this stuff is good for you, and realize that God has given us this immune system that's intact. Why would you take and look at the inserts, read the inserts, read what's in the inserts. Read what's in the inserts about the ramifications of vaccines. There's autism and SIDS in the inserts that people don't even read the inserts, and yet they give the stuff to the kids. So that's what I would say. If I had it to do over again, that's what I would have done.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.